In this video, I will show 10 steps for the initial setup of the WIGI via SMS. First and foremost, we need to have a SIM card set in, like you can see in the picture to the left. Make sure it's all the way in. We need to have a GSM antenna attached to the unit, as you can see here. We need to have between 12 and 24 volts AC or DC. Here I have 12 volts DC. In this little video, you can see the green light blinks 4 or 5 times, and then pauses. That means I have a good connection. If you see the yellow light on the right, that means I have a GSM connection. The very first thing I want to do is I want to delete the SIM data. I do that with a semicolon, SDCLR semicolon again. After a couple of minutes, the unit will restart, and then I'm ready to go through the rest of the programming. The first thing I want to do is set up my requirements for alarm activation. I do that with the command semicolon plus IN1 equals 0, semicolon ID1 equals 10, semicolon DD1 equals 15, and I finish with semicolon. You can see the plus sign right after the semicolon and before the command. That gives me the possibility of receiving a confirmation from the unit that the command has been received. By setting up IN1 as 0, I'm saying that the alarm will be active when ground is connected. ID1 equals 10. That allows 10 seconds before the alarm activation. DD1 equals 15. That means the reporting will be delayed 15 seconds. The next thing I want to do is I want to establish a number for reporting for all the reports. One of the 5 administrators in the system, that's TN1, by sending semicolon plus TN1 equals the telephone number I want to send from, semicolon LN1 equals 13, semicolon LN5 equals 1, finished with semicolon. I am telling the unit that the telephone number here is my telephone number for the first administrator, and that LN1 equals 13. The alarm will be sent to the first telephone number, TN1, and the third telephone number, TN3. LN5 equals 1 is a command I'm sending to tell the unit that I want all non-authorized access events to be sent to telephone number 1. The next step is I want to activate my output. In this situation, I'm going to send a semicolon plus OS1 equals 5, semicolon OD1 equals 1, semicolon OP1 equals 1. And here I'm telling the unit that I want a 5-second pulse out of the output. I want the input to activate the output, and then I want inverse polarity on the output, a normally closed condition. If I wanted normally open condition, I would just change that 1 to a 0. The next thing I want to do is I want to set up my security levels. A security level is necessary to prevent anyone from just calling in the unit. I'm saying that remote programming will only be allowed from the numbers I set up in the system. I've decided that I wanted a semicolon plus SL equals 3 and semicolon again to tell the unit that remote programming is allowed from telephone numbers 1 through 3. That means 1, 2, and 3. Next, I want to be able to synchronize the internal clock to GSM. I do that with this command that's called semicolon plus UDC equals the telephone number of the unit. And I end with a semicolon again. I get a confirmation back. Then I want to set my language to English, and I do that with the command semicolon plus LNG equals 0, and then semicolon again. I get a confirmation back that the language has been set to English. I also want a test report every 24 hours. Therefore, I send a semicolon plus TST equals 24, and then a semicolon again. When I send this in, I get a confirmation back that it's been received by the unit. When I receive messages or alarms, I want to know which locality it is, and by typing in semicolon plus number sign 0 locale, that's the name, equals 1, and semicolon number sign 1 skabslo, that's in Danish, equals 1. That's the name of the alarm input for the unit. I get a confirmation back on that. And last but not least, I want to set up my event log. I only want, via SMS, I only want 5 of the last events in the log. That means I send the command semicolon plus logn equals 5, semicolon logi equals 0, semicolon alc equals 1, and semicolon. In this way, I will only receive the 5 last events in the log. If there are further questions about programming of the unit, a full manual can be found under the product on our web page.